starting.
All this is, wow, all this is fucking, this is...
Tone.
Hello, everyone. Very sorry.
No, we didn't.
We were just talking about our lad's tour of Syria.
No, you know, a bit of banter just before we went on air. But welcome to another edition of Daily Blues here on 100% Chelsea. I've got the giggles. All the
Daniel just said something in his eyes. No, oh my days.
all the latest. I can't help it.
Right, you can probably say anything now. Right.
All the latest news to do with Chelsea, and obviously today what we're going to do is talk about Diego Costa. Now we know a massive issue at the moment, besides Fabregas, Ivanovic, has been Diego Costa, and whether people think he's been playing too aggressive. Is he just picking a fight? Does he just want to go WWE and start, bring out the tables and, go absolutely mental? We're going to have a discussion about that. Let's start with Tone. Tone.
I thought you already did.
No.
I didn't even know you pressed the button, you know what I mean? Fair enough.
No problem. Costa.
Yes,
is he
mate.
playing too aggressive? Is he trying to pick out a fight? Or do you think it's just his character, you're fine with it, keep going?
Well, yeah, it is his character, and that's part of his DNA and his makeup, and that's one of the reasons why we bought him, because we thought he was well suited for the Premier League.
Yeah.
However, I don't mind him playing aggressively, because that, like I said, that's why we all love him.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that there's times when you just know he's not going to get that decision.
Yeah.
He's getting a little bit nudged, or this, that, and the other, and he stops play and throws his hands up in the air and basically looking for the decision and looking for everything to go his way. I mean, that's just the point. He's looking for everything to go his way at the moment.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I'd like him to get back to, obviously not stop what he's all about. You stop moving that paper, Louis.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my page because I've got notes. Go ahead, keep talking.
Shit. Well, keep moving the paper, Louis. Yeah. So obviously, I don't want him to stop. What he's all about, because that, like I said, that's why we love him so much. But I just think at this moment in time, he's every single decision he's getting, annoyed that he's not getting, and half the time I think to myself, oh, for God's sake, just crack on with it, Diego. You're not going to get that decision right now, mate. What's the point in stropping around and having the ump with something that quite clearly isn't your decision? So I'd like him to get back to that, buddy. Yeah.
Definitely. Dan, how are you feeling about Costa? Do you think he's too aggressive, or?
I think it's down to his form, that the reason he's so kind of getting annoyed at the moment. I mean, I don't know when it was. I think we may have talked about this a few days ago. I was talking about how Costa seems to be coming out wide a lot. It's not staying in the box, because that's a sign of him not getting enough chances, not getting good enough balls from behind. I think that. Sorry, I've got the giggles. No, basically, I'm thinking about that chat we had before. No, he's not getting the service from Fabregas and Oscar and Hazard, that he was getting last year, and I think that's a lot of frustration kind of pent up. I also think, yeah, it does get a bit annoying. I think just come on Diego like that, and in his game last year wasn't really based around that. There was a lot of that, but it was kind of very structured and methodical how he would select those situations. I mean, when he first came into the Premier League, everyone was like, yeah, this guy's going to get a red card within 2 or 3 games, like everyone said about Mitrovic. But what Costa was able to do was actually channel that kind of aggressiveness of his game and actually turn it on the opposition, to be able to the opposition to lose their focus. Make those runs, get him the chances and scoring the goals. But this year it hasn't worked out, and I think it's a lot to do with our form and him having to go out wide and try and make chances for himself because he's not getting the service from players who, oh, for God's sake, Louis, from Fabregas.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that is fair. I mean, Louis, do you agree?
If I'm honest, I think I agree with both of them. You know, he's not getting the service that he needs. He's not getting the service he needs, but because he keeps going down for decisions, you know, keeps staying. Stop laughing, you're not helping. Keeps going.
I'm just going to make myself a bacon sandwich.
Wait. Okay, give me a sec. Stop laughing, you're not helping.
Come on, man.
Okay. I think, if I'm honest, I think he's been a bit of a pussy. He's going down, and you know he's saying, "Oh, why am I getting these decisions?" You get up and carry on. You should channel his aggressions better instead of just going on the floor, falling up. You laugh. You know what?
What is he? What's he talking about?
Diego Costa is a pussy. At the minute.
Can't get my head around it.
Hey guys, what's up, Son of Chelsea here, and I'm going to be taking over this stream from now on because we've lost all kind of units. What's going on here? We're like Chelsea this year at the back. Jesus Christ. What's going on?
The bus has crashed.
Mate, we haven't got a bus. We got a minivan and we're taking it all the way to Syria.
We need those Yokohama tyres. We need the skunk kit out if we're gonna save this stream.
Okay, no. I just want people just so we decide. Can people put in the comments Syria, Afghanistan, or Zimbabwe? Because we're just trying to decide where we want to go.
As a holiday destination. No, anyway. No, I mean, with Costa, you have to. I mean, he's even said he's not going to change his whole character. You know, he's not going to change the way he is. That's just how he is. But last season compared to this season, even though he might think it's the same, it's not. Last season he was aggressive, but he was aggressive in a good way on the pitch, you know, making sure no defender was knocking him over and making sure no one was going to stop him. And this year, it's like he wants to fight. You know, he's just turned into Phil Mitchell. He just wants to get the gloves out and start, you know what, let's have some. You know, I don't know.
Well, do you remember I was talking to someone inside in the club and that, and they said that you know, he's got some major personal issues. I did say that a few weeks back, you know, and he is sort of playing that way, you know, with all the problems of the world, you know, on his shoulders, like, you know, like every single situation he's got an issue with.
Yeah.
Quite clearly, you know, sometimes, especially this season, you watch him and you think, listen, he's not going to get that decision. Just carry on. Fight for the ball, you know.
Exactly.
But he sort of throws his hands up and expects everything, and then he, you know. And that's not, you know, don't get me wrong, that's in his DNA, you know, regardless. But for every single decision, you know, what made him so good last season is the fact that, you know, he didn't, you know, all right, if things didn't go his way, he carried on. He fought for the ball.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing about his movement as well. I don't know about this year, but last year his movement was superb. You know, getting in the right positions, taking the shot at the right time. Last season as well, every time he'd have a chance, just the slightest chance to hit one, pull the trigger, he would. And this year he's not. And his movement as well, he's looked a bit sloppy. He's looked like he's not bothered sometimes. I don't know what the issue is. Dan, do you agree with Tone? Do you think it might be personal issues?
I'm not sure because I've kept, funny enough, I was speaking to a United fan today and he was like saying, oh, Costa's unsettled. I was like, mate, like he's come out twice now during this summer and came out and rubbished all of those rumours. And none of those actual rumours came from reliable places. Like they were all from sites that, you know, that make up rubbish transfer rumours. It was all kind of like word of mouth. Like you saw it in some Chelsea well-known Chelsea blogging websites picked on the story. But Costa himself back in June kind of came out and said, I think it was June after the game in Sydney, came out and said that, listen, I'm happy here. I love it here. Sure, I took some time to settle here. Sure, it was always going to be difficult moving to another country. And he addressed those rumours. And the way he addressed them, to me, kind of explained that you know, he understands that he's had problems, but he's happy here and he wants to continue playing for Chelsea. You know, I think, and I don't think he's been absolutely awful this season. I think it's a bit of a myth that he's been. Yeah. I've heard some people saying that he's absolutely been crap. I mean, I will use the excuse for him that I think, yeah, there has been some games like the City game where I think he got too much into fighting, and maybe against Crystal Palace. But when a striker, as I'll say, when a striker starts to go out wide to try and pick up the ball and bring it into the box, you know that I think that's a clear sign of a striker not getting enough service. And I think I'll stick to that. And you know, Diego, I thought actually improved his game a lot against West Brom. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case against Crystal Palace. So, you know, I actually think him and Fabregas looked quite good against Spain on Saturday. I think they were connecting quite well. Diego actually didn't do. Yeah, I mean, what did I say instead?
He said against Spain.
Against Spain, okay. Yeah. For Spain. And Fabregas, and I think, as I said the other day, I think the reason why was because Fabregas was pushed more forward. And I think that actually helps Costa a lot. The problem is with Costa, when it's kind of hard to judge him when he's playing for Spain, because Spain are not set up to play with a recognised striker like a striker of Diego Costa, you know, and that's just the way it is. That the style of football they play is very much tiki-taka, you know, and very much passing about, trying to find space. It's not so orientated around Diego Costa. A lot of what Chelsea's play is based around is getting the ball from midfield, getting out to the wingers, maybe getting it into Fabregas and trying to find space for Diego Costa. You know, I think when you've got a player like Costa, you've really got to centre your game around him. You can't just put him in there. You've got to centre a lot of the play because he's involved in so much of it, holding up the ball. You know, so yeah, I don't think it's been awful.
I mean, Costa.
I don't think he ever. Can I just say, I never ever felt he was a striker that stayed in the box. I thought quite often it would go wide anyway to pick the ball up. But I seem to remember that in part of his game last season. I don't think that's a this season thing though. But
well, I mean, Costa, has he ever been sent off for us? He hasn't, has he? Or...
No.
No.
No. Quite never. Surprising, isn't it?
Which is, yeah, which you look at it now, it's surprising because I don't know. Do you think teams will try and capitalise on that? Do you think now they can see he's turned into a little bit of an aggressive, you know, a strop sometimes. He wants trouble, like he's looking for trouble. Do you think some defenders will go, you know what, I'm going to try and get him sent off today?
Yeah, of course. That's what since he arrived. That's been the case. I mean, it's just he was able to channel it properly. Last season, Daniel was laughing. Why? He said, "Why is it that I bring giggles as soon as I arrive?" Really, boys? Come on.
Oh, go on.
He sent a picture. Of course, he has. They've always tried it, but last season he managed to channel it better, score goals, and you know he was obviously had support from JT, who obviously would come over if a fight happened. I always remember I've never seen JT run so fast when Costa was having an argument with Seamus Coleman. I've never seen JT move like that. I was thinking, he was road running. So it was like, oh, wow, okay. And then he channeled it. He scored goals, and he did his job. This season, in the words of Brian Salavanic, if he's going to be in that position, he does his fucking job. He does his job, and he's not doing his job, is he, at the minute? And I think, I don't know, maybe so he's caught up with him.
Tell he's back to college, can't you? A day.
Mate,
it's language.
I don't like it. I feel like I'm in a prison cell. It's literally it's whatever is it 6x6? It's what it is. It does have a, huh?
Where are you right now?
At school. In my room.
School.
I'm in my room.
Well, you're in the physics. You're in the laboratory.
Mate, I'd probably be better off in a laboratory than I'm in here right now.
What's going on with that light above your head?
What light
I think it's coming off the screen or whatnot or whatever it is. Yeah.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Let's try and fix it, shall we, lads?
No.
No, that's getting worse. There we go. No.
With Costa, you look at the difference for someone like Didier. You know, he was aggressive. But he didn't look like he wanted to kill anyone. You know? No. Costa, on the other hand, looks like he wants to start fighting with everyone.
Well, that does sort of give you the impression that that sort of strikes me as someone that's not entirely happy.
Yeah.
Because he played with aggression last season, but he kind of like fought it all out on the pitch. You know, if he was getting niggled or pulled back, he'd carry on. You know, until both players just would fall on the floor, basically collapse in a big heap, and then he'd wait for the decision. That's how he plays. He plays on the cusp, if you like, yeah. But this season, he's almost allowed himself to get pushed and niggled and bullied a bit, and he just throws his arms up over every decision. But that's the difference. You just need to get him to get back to the old Diego, because, you know.
Well, I mean, I doubt it's anything personal. I mean, when you think about it, why would he be unhappy? You know, in his personal life. I mean, he's in London. He's won a title. He's with Chelsea. He's starting practically every game. He's being coached by Mourinho. I mean, any player would be completely happy in that circumstance, especially in a city like London. But there was criticism at the beginning of the season, if you remember, that he's too aggressive, and he got asked the questions: Are you gonna tone it down? And he went, "No, I'm not. It's my character. It's how I am. It's how I've always been." And do you think with him saying that, he's probably just taken it to the next level to just try and prove his point? Maybe if no one had said anything, he might have just remained as the normal Diego that we know.
Maybe it's just the fact that he's just like every other player. He's just suffering in fitness, so he's not able to get to that ball at that time.
That's a good point.
And so maybe he's over trying, overcompensating, and getting frustrated accordingly. You know, maybe we should judge this in 4 or 5 games, like we said with the rest of the side, and then perhaps we'll get the old Diego, like we'll get the old Fabregas and the old, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, I mean, stats are incredible, aren't they? If last season, what was it? 21 goals, wasn't it? 21 goals.
20. Yeah, I think it was.
21. 28 games.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Practically nearly a goal every game.
Well, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Dan, he makes a good point in terms of his fitness. Maybe he knows he can't really keep up at the moment. He's getting a bit more frustrated.
Yeah, maybe. We've talked about this with most of the squad, but I think it's a positive sign with Diego's fitness that he's played every game. You know, I don't think he came off against West Brom. I think he played full 90 for 3 of the 4 games we played already. You know, I think with a lot of things, you know, he it's like with most things. I mean, just to use an example, I mean, I play tennis, and a lot of that is, you know, trying to find your level when you're playing points, and, you know, and try and find a level of intensity. I think it's very much similar with football. I mean, you've got to find the right intensity that's going to work on a football pitch and is going to get you into that zone of playing well. And sometimes it takes time to kind of tune into that and kind of get it at the right level. I think Costa, you take some of that intensity away from him, I don't think he's a good player. I mean, you look at players like Aguero, they're very much kind of calm and collected players on the pitch, but that's probably what works for him. Probably Aguero running around like a maniac and trying to start fights doesn't work, because it's the same like a player like Messi. You look at a player like Ronaldo, he's very much a lot of power, a lot of breathing heavily, you know, like trying to big himself up on a football pitch. And, you know, I think that with Diego, it's a lot about his aggressive nature, but it's doing it in a certain way and finding a focus with that aggressiveness. It's almost like he's putting on an act with the aggressive nature of his play, you know, in my opinion, because he does it in certain games. I mean, you know, the Everton game is a perfect example of Diego Costa at his best. You know, I think the Everton game last year was Diego Costa. You know, he riled up the opponents, got in their heads, scored lots of goals, and I think it was proper Chelsea that game. What he did, you know, I think, yeah, it's all about finding that level, and I think it's the same for probably players like Hazard at the moment, trying to find that level of form that you're going to need. It may be something to do with fitness. I don't think it's exactly like fitness for Diego, because I think more to do with his fitness is more to do with his hamstring, and his hamstring hasn't really pulled up yet, and he's played consistently for most of it and hasn't looked at all fatigued. So I don't know. I don't think I put that down to the reason. I think there are other reasons why he's not at full form yet, like a lot of our players.
Well, I mean, Chelsea boy 3112 has put a comment, and it's a very, very good comment. He said it's Costa's movement. He's not moving into space or getting into positions for him to get a ball. Why can't Costa do well for Spain? Same reason, it's his spatial awareness, not the midfield. Would you agree with that, Lou?
I would say he does have some issues with his spatial awareness, but I wouldn't say it's a massive, massive issue. I wouldn't say it's, I would put a lot of it down to his, not delivery, the balls he gets in, and how he's given to him. But he does have issues with his movement as well. I mean, he almost seems like he's not confident because he's not in the box. A good striker is always in the box. When Hazard's out on the left or Pedro's out on the right, you're in the box waiting for the ball, and you get there, you get your head in it. You're not supposed to be out on the left. I mean, if we were playing two up front, I think it could work out if it was two. You'd have Falcao in the box maybe, or Remy, and you'd have Costa out wide trying to help whoever's got the ball. So Hazard could be having issues against Seamus Coleman next week, and he could be out wide helping Hazard against Seamus Coleman, getting the ball in. Falcao nods it in. That could be how it goes down. But if you're playing one man up top and you're the striker, your job is to be in that box and get that ball in the back of the net, not out on the left and putting the balls in.
Yeah.
He did that mostly though against West Brom. That's why he had a good game, and that's why a better game, and that's why he scored a goal.
Because if you think, exactly. But if you think about his goal, he wasn't out on the left, was he? He was in the box.
No, he was central. That's what I'm saying. He was mostly central in that box.
Yeah, you need to be in that box. I mean, you can't. Let's put it this way: you can't exactly throw. If you put in, you can score from corners, but there's a very slim chance. I mean, it's not like he's going to be standing on the corner flag trying to have a shot, is it?
No.
Let's be honest.
Nearly all of his goals come from in the box. I mean,
exactly. That's why
the goal against West Ham at home last year, which is probably one of my favourite goals he scored, all of them come within the same area, that kind of penalty box kind of area. And there's a reason for that. And that's why he is that sort of striker. He's a typical number 9. I mean, he's so much more than that. I think he's technically brilliant. And I think people kind of just typecast him as this kind of aggressive, kind of battering ram. But he's just so different to so many strikers that are in that kind of, you could label as that. Costa's technically brilliant. His movement, I've never seen movement like it. On his day, beating the offside trap. Hold up play is quite exceptional. I haven't seen hold up play since Drogba at his prime. Diego is able to do, and that's why he works so well with our game. Spain don't lump the ball up that often, and that's so Diego can't get up, win a header, lay it off, and then run forward. That's usually Diego's kind of game. He'll hold the ball up, lay it off to a more creative player, and try and find space behind the defence. But he can't do that for Spain because that's not the style of. It's very slow. It's very. It's not based on quick movement. Costa's very much it's quick passing, and then he'll be able to find that space. So it'd be interesting to see what happens on Saturday.
That is a good point. And I mean, I do understand. Remember, he had an injury, and it was a bad one.
Yeah.
With his hamstring, I can totally understand that a striker will dip form after a hamstring. Nitesh has put a comment saying Costa could learn a lot from Aguero on how to be a striker, not a winger. Tone, would you agree with that?
No, I just think they're two different types of players. I do,
Yeah.
I don't think. To be honest with you, look, he was class last season. He was banging goals in fun. We all recognise that the first 4 games of the season haven't been the best. They're not at their peak in terms of fitness, which is again. They should be, but they're not, and I think it just, it's just one of the casualties of that situation, I believe.
Yeah.
You are right, though. West Brom, I thought it was much more back to himself. I don't think there's a lot to worry about, and maybe hopefully there'll be good memories flooding back next week at Everton because
fingers crossed.
Last that day, wasn't he?
Sorry to interrupt you. It's just like thinking about that on that point that Tony made about Everton is like. Everton, in terms of their player, as I've said here before, are very open in their play, and that's why Costa got so much space. I mean, I've seen some comments in the video saying that people double up on Costa, and that's certainly the case. I mean, you've seen it with Hazard. But Everton, I think, will give us more space because they want to attack more. They're more attack-minded. They're very possession-based, and that's where we caught them out last year, and I think we can catch them out again this year. I think if they start playing that side, I don't think they'll park the bus at home because that's not Martinez's style. He likes possession football. He likes attacking football.
Very open.
And that feeds like Diego Costa. He can have a great day if that's the case because he can run in behind. He can find that space. Jagielka's not the fastest defender. I know Stones has got pace, but Costa can find those spaces, and it's just about the players behind him, like Fabregas and Hazard, to have a good day. And Matic as well. It's key in that midfield, the Matic and Fabregas, whoever plays. I mean, I think Loftus-Cheek should play there, but if the players behind him, especially in that central midfield, have a good day, then Costa will get those chances, because he won't have to come up to the left or to the right wing to try and pick up the ball, because the players will be doing their jobs anyway, so he'll be able to stay central. I think on Saturday, if we're playing well, when we're playing well, Costa naturally stays where he's supposed to be, because he knows that everyone around him playing well, and he's getting the chances, so he just stays there because instinctively that's where he knows he's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. I think when he gets desperate, he tends to fly over to the wing to get the ball and create something from nothing, perhaps. I don't know, Lou?
I don't know. He does go over the wing to try and create something, but I mean, he did play wings at Atletico Madrid when Falcao was there, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it's not his natural position, is it? It's not his natural position. He is a striker. He is, like Daniel's saying, a traditional number 9. He's in the box. He gets it in. He needs to be doing that. He can't afford to be messing about like he is. And
do you think he needs some help? Do you think it'd be nice to see?
I do. I think
up top.
I think it would work out well for us. I mean, I wasn't there when you guys were talking about formations, but I think having 2 strikers up top can really, really help us, because we've been figured out. We've been figured out, and something needs to change. And I have a feeling if we played 2 strikers, and you had Hazard on the left and Pedro on the right, you think about how much damage just those 4 could do, and how they would be marked.
There was a call the other day, Louis. It was a brilliant call, actually. Kennedy one side, Pedro the other, and Hazard behind Costa.
No, I don't think Hazard down the middle work. We've seen it before, and I don't think it'll work. I can't see.
Well, we all thought it was brilliant.
There was a couple of games where, for example, City, where he was playing down the middle, he was down the middle when, because I was away and I saw the team sheets that came up. It said Hazard was playing down the middle. It had no effect there. In big games, Hazard doesn't have effect down the middle. What he's good at going down the wing, cutting in, and then causing havoc, either to win a corner, win a free kick, win a penalty, and playing along that byline, because then we still have possession of the ball. Hazard down the middle, he's great, but I don't think he's not got anything on Oscar or someone. You need, in my opinion, we need a traditional number 10 in that position. Because if we have a traditional number 10 in that position, we have someone who can dish out the passes, move the ball about, which is what you want to provide service.
So the problem is, you're saying about playing 2 up front, is with that system, you've got to take out the number 10. You just have to. The system of playing 2 up front, you have to take out the number. So you're going to have. So then, would you only play Matic, not play another defensive midfielder along him, or a central midfielder? For me, if you're playing 2 up front in that system with 2 wingers, you've got to take out the number 10, because you can't be that light in midfield, and we know how Matic has been playing this season. I don't think I wouldn't like a system where we're playing 2 up front, 2 out on the wing, maybe Oscar alongside Matic in midfield, and Oscar's naturally a number 10, so he's going to come forward, so Matic will be exposed, in midfield. I don't think that's a good idea to players like Ross Barkley. And with a lot of pace that Everton have, I don't think it works. I've said it on here before that I think 2 up front, it sounds like a great idea, and what caused us to get that goal, I think, against Crystal Palace, because Costa was able to make space, Falcao was able to run across, marking all of that. But I don't think it works, because I just think you're going to have to sacrifice a key player, like you're saying, Louis, like Oscar, who can naturally feed out the ball. So, I don't think playing 2 up front will suit that. I think we play better with 1 up front. I think 2 up front definitely should be used if something's going wrong in a game or we need a goal. I think definitely we can shake it up in games and play with variety. I mean, naturally, sometimes I've even seen, and people may disagree with me, but sometimes you see Hazard almost playing as a second striker, alongside Costa, just behind Costa.
For Lille, he did play as a striker sometimes. Mm-hmm. So he can play.
But I've said this before. Like, I think we have a lot of variety in terms of movement. Like, players aren't set to their positions, other than maybe Costa or maybe defence and Matic. I think Fabregas and Oscar will kind of interchange. You'll have Pedro and Hazard, the wingers, kind of interchanging between positions during games. So that's what I like about our formation. I don't think playing 2 up front's good, but then you have to sacrifice Oscar, or if you're going to play Fabregas up front, you have to sacrifice him as well. So I think, you know.
Well, mate, you mentioned Fabregas, and this was a comment. This was a little topic going on in the comments just now. If Fabregas dips form, does that affect Costa? Because remember, Costa's success last season, with practically half the goals he scored, was down to an assist from Fabregas. So do you think when Fabregas dips, Costa dips a bit?
Well, there is.
Go on, Lou.
Sorry. There is stuff in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, when Fabregas has dipped in form, you know, he hasn't played as well. Like the second half of the season, he was still scoring goals, but he wasn't scoring as many goals as he had in the first half.
Yeah.
So obviously there is something there. However, like I was saying when Pedro arrived, you've got another player who can pass, who can shoot. You know, who is the full Monty. Let's be honest. But I mean, he shouldn't just be relying on Fabregas. And you know, he should. And if that's the case, then you know, if they come as an item and we drop one, the other one might have to be dropped. But it's difficult to call, isn't it? But I think if we push Cesc forward, like if we are, I agree with Daniel, you know, where leaving Matic exposed maybe might not be great. I completely understand that. But if we did play two up top, pushing Fabregas forward might into that number 10 or into that position behind the striker might do well. However, if we don't, I suggest we push him forward anyway and have him as competition for Oscar. And, you know, put someone like Ramirez or Mikel as, you know, you have two holding for the big games, you have two holding midfielders, and you have them all, the three, Mikel, Oscar, not Mikel and Oscar, Mikel, Ramirez, Matic, Loftus-Cheek, all fight it out for those two positions. Yeah. And then you have Oscar and Fabregas fight out for the number 10, because in that deep line position, he's not doing anything at the minute, is he? He gets the ball taken off of him, and, you know, the defence are exposed. So, you know, there's not a lot we can do with him in that position anymore. Like I'm saying, we've been figured out. Something needs to change in our system, and I think if you ask me, Fabregas and Ivanovic are the two weakest links. Yeah, Ivanovic is just, you know, that's where the attacks go. But where we started our attacks, where the pinpoint was, which was Fabregas, we've lost it completely there, and now people just crowd him. As soon as he gets the ball, he's lost it. Or when he's doing set pieces, he can't get it past the first man. So you know, I suggest I think if we play Fabregas in number 10, see how that works. But if that doesn't work, just drop him and see how Costa does, because Costa is our main striker. But, you know, I would, if you know what we were saying like last week about Everton, who would we start? I would start Falcao at the weekend, personally. So, you know, we'll see how it all goes.
Tom, do you think there's anything to it with Fabregas dipping form, Costa's form might dip a bit? Do you think that, as Louis mentioned, they might just come as an item?
No, not really. I just think, I mean, Fabregas is off. You know, he's off the pace at the moment, like indeed the rest of the side is.
Yeah.
I just think they need games, and I think we should judge it in 2 or 3 games time, buddy. I saw enough in the West Brom game of Costa to. I don't think it's as bad as we're making out. You know, let's wait and see what their fitness is like, and hopefully everything should be okay, bud.
Yeah, that's true, especially after the international break now.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're all grateful for that, weren't we?
Yeah. I think that came at a welcome time. You know, we'll see how players do. The issue I was worried about is if we lost players. As it stands right now, we haven't lost anybody. But you know, we'll all see how it goes down. But I think it has come at a good time for us.
What do people think? What do people think, Eunice?
Well, I mean, we can check what they're saying.
Mikel for Hazard, James Carter.
Yeah. The Lord Mikel will get anywhere on the pitch. Chelsea Boy 3112 says, why are we dropping Oscar? He needs... Sorry, the comments have just gone up. He needs playing time for him to reach consistency. Do you agree?
Yeah. Definitely, because, you know, we were saying that this will be his key season. He needs to play to get that key season. But at the minute, he's been injured, hasn't he? He's only just come back. That's the reason he's been out.
See, for me on Saturday, you either play Oscar or Fabregas in that number 10 role. For me, that'd be I think they're the only two options for number 10. I wouldn't play Fabregas in central midfield. As we've said, he's too much of a risk in that position. And as I've said on here before, that if he loses the ball in that midfield area, especially if he's playing central midfield and he's deep, in the pitch, the opposition's got a free run at the defence. If he loses the ball at number 10 position, and you've still got Matic and another defensive or central midfielder behind him to cover. I think, and also Fabregas is just naturally a creative player. Sometimes I do think he, at times last season, he was good in that number. Playing in central midfield alongside Matic. It did work at first, but I think now teams have figured us out a bit more, and the fact we've got a player like Loftus-Cheek waiting to start playing, I think he could work in that position. I don't know why we're not playing him. Even at, if you're not going to play Loftus-Cheek, then, which I really want him to play on Saturday, because I think he's a brilliant option for that, because I think he can do a job. And we're only going to find out if he can do the job if Jose plays him, starts him. We're only going to find out, there's no point, well, what if he goes wrong? Well, then we'll know that he ain't ready yet, just give him a chance and then we'll see if he's ready, because that's how Harry Kane got his chance at Tottenham, if Pochettino never put him in a Premier League side, Spurs never would have known if he would have scored 30 goals last season, So that's the big thing with Loftus-Cheek. But if you ain't going to play Loftus-Cheek, then you could play someone like Ramirez in there, maybe, I know Ramirez hasn't been on top form like a lot of our players, but that's another alternative. I just don't think Fabregas should be in central midfield anymore. I just think but then the problem is what happens with Oscar, because this is his big season, so it's a tough conundrum for Jose, but I don't know, we'll have to find out.
If there's one man that can figure it out, it's Jose. So, Von Cringe has said things better get okay pretty soon, the way City are going. And Sumya said Costa is a typical counter-attacking striker. Do you agree, Tone? I mean, to be fair, on the counter, he does bloody well on the counter.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's quick. I mean, I suppose he is. I mean, like I said, he scored plenty of goals last season, didn't he? 28 appearances, 21 goals. I think that was what it was, right. And I think he's got a 1 in 2 strike rate, hasn't he? Full stop. So he's always going to get goals. He's always going to score goals. I just think it's the fitness. We just need games, and it's not just Diego Costa. It's pretty much all the side. Really. You could have a program right now of what's going on with Cesc Fabregas, what's going on with Eden Hazard, what's going on with Ivanovic.
Yeah,
it's true, isn't it? What's the matter? What's the matter with the defence?
That's true. It's practically everyone.
Say that in one word, though, can't we?
Fitness.
Slow.
Yeah, fitness. Yeah, fitness, yeah. And they're just a yard off. So the opposition, I don't know. Maybe that's why we're not looking so great. Well,
that's true.
About it. That is the reason.
That is the reason.
I think he'll get back to being Diego Costa. And like you said,
and I'm sure as well. But obviously, the question, as we've always said, is when and how soon. Because we can't keep like this for the next 5-10 games. It has to come pretty soon. If not, City are just gonna fly ahead.
Well, they already are, aren't they? I mean, it's a ridiculous gap after 4 games, and it is a worry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if, say, for example, we were to lose at Everton,
that'll be disastrous.
I'll tell you what, but let's be honest. If you look
we've lost 2 and drawn 1. It's terrible out of 4.
If I quickly get up our fixture list now, so let's do this.
Well, we've got Arsenal after that, haven't we?
We've got Everton, we've got Arsenal. In those 2 games, I just find it difficult to think of where our next win's going to come from. I really do.
We've got Newcastle as well, haven't we? We've got Newcastle.
I mean, if you told me, last season or just before we won the league, you got Everton and then Arsenal, I'd be like, well, that's 6 points. But now it's like, I hope against Everton we're back on form.
Yeah, it just goes to show you.
So we've got Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle are our next 3 Premier League games. Then we've got Southampton, Villa, West Ham, Liverpool.
And remember, we got a Champions League somewhere.
See, I mean,
we've got Maccabi Tel Aviv.
This is the thing with football, though. I mean, we win confidently and comfortably on Saturday. Everyone feels more confident going in. And I think the good thing about the Arsenal game, which I think is a very key game, which I think could be a turning point, even if we do win the next 2 games before Arsenal. We have that Tel Aviv game, so we have 2 games before Arsenal, which I think is good. If we just had 1 game before Arsenal, we're going to have time to maybe get our confidence up, play 2 matches before then. Of course, you'd say that the Everton game is more important because you don't want to lose any more ground on City. But I think, things can change very quickly in football. And those games that you're talking about right now, it looks very difficult for us to get any sort of points because you're just not confident in the team. But if we win on Saturday and Costa scores a goal, Hazard gets back to his form, Fabregas looks composed in midfield, if we maybe keep a clean sheet, JT looks back to his best, I think everyone will be confident again. I'm not saying everyone will think we're going to win the league, but everyone will have more confidence about us. If we have a composed win, Chelsea-like win, I think everyone will be thinking, it's not crisis. We can still do this. And I think, like I've said before, Chelsea have been in bad situations before, and a big game sometimes actually is the best thing that can happen to you because the players raise their level. The manager gets, and especially there's not a team more like maybe you could say Liverpool, but there's not a team in the Premier League that Jose likes to beat more than Arsenal. And we all know that. And I think a game at home where we've got such a good record against Arsenal in the past decade, I think that it could be a good game for us. And you can imagine if we win our next 3 games, everyone's gonna be buzzing after that Arsenal game because it would be such a massive win because it would turn the tide of the season. It'd be our first big win of the season. We would.
But if you think about sorry to interrupt you, Daniel, but if you think about current form, I can't see where our next win's going to come from. I really can't.
Of course, but that's not.
It won't remain like that.
It won't. Like the chances are, like I've seen opposition fans and pundits say Jose will eventually get it right because just the stats prove that eventually a team like Chelsea with the quality we have, there's no way we're like I know like. Touch wood, like there's no way we're going to have this sort of form for the rest of the season.
No.
Because the talent of our players and the fitness growing each week, that just naturally can't happen because sooner or later the talent's going to shine through because that's how football works. Even in the bad years of Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal, they still eventually win games. They still eventually go on a run. Arsenal, as bad as they've been in the past couple of years, always go on a run because eventually the talent does shine through. We've got a still a brilliant team for me. I've said this. I think it's down to the confidence and the form of the players more than the players need to be sold. I think Ivanovic is probably the best example of a player who should be dropped, of course, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't. We've all come to an agreement of that now. But I think with a lot of players, it is form, and as I'll reiterate, we get a confident win on Saturday. Everyone's back in a more cheerful mood about Chelsea, a more confident one, It won't ruin our weekend, and especially that is a crucial game. I'm sorry, I know this is kind of a random point, but 12:45 kickoff, we have to win that because if we don't win that, then there's no more football for me for the weekend. We have to win that game. The 12:45 is probably the best and the worst kickoff you can have because if you win that game, you've set out for the weekend. You can watch all the rest of the football. It doesn't really matter what happens in the other games because you're happy. But I'm still confident going into Saturday. I think we have to be. I think we have to have belief in our manager and have belief in the players.
As fans, we have to do that. I agree. But I mean, I just in the comment people saying, do I think we're going to be like this for a season? No, I don't. But if we don't do well against Everton, the form hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And then at that point,
what if we win? What if we win?
Well, we can have that conversation if we win. But I'm talking about right here, right now. I am worried about whether we're going to win or not, Everton. Because Everton,
it's a very hard place to go. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. And with what's happened with Stones,
it's
very hostile. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So our last 5 meetings there. I think I posted it on my Facebook page. Let me just get it up. So our last 5 meetings, because I was thinking this morning, I was like, we don't actually have that good of a record at Everton, in recent times.
Yeah.
And so our last 5 meetings there, 10-11, which was Ancelotti's last game as Chelsea manager, we lost 1-0. The following season, one of AVB's last game, we lost 2-0. The following season, we won 2-1. I think Lampard scored that goal. Benitez was in charge at that time. Season after Jose's first year back, we lost 1-0. And of course, last year, we all know what happened last year, 6-3. I mean, Everton, that's 5 games. Everton have got 3 wins. We've got only 2 wins. So it's not a good record, and it's a tough place to go. Of course, it's a tough place to go. I just don't want to be too negative about it. I think, as Tony said after the Crystal Palace game, maybe the international breaks come at a good time, for the players to reassess. You know, Hazard got a winning goal for Belgium last year. That can only do in confidence. I know people were sending me links saying that the Belgium manager had said, Wilmot had said that he was one of the worst players on the pitch. But if he's putting the goals in the back of the net, you're not doing a lot wrong. You know, he won them that game. You know, and you know that must give him confidence. As I said, Fabregas looked a bit better on Saturday. We have to wait and see for Saturday, but I still believe in these players because let's be honest, what was it? 3 or 4 months ago, even less than that, we were champions, you know, and we were lifting that Premier League trophy. So I don't believe that all that talent goes so quickly.
That's the issue, isn't it? That is the issue. We have the players. We have the players. We had the players who won the Premier League trophy. As it stands now, they have no hunger. There is nothing there. And if you think, with the majority of the squad, think about that starting 11. The only really, really obvious thing that has changed is Pedro.
Yeah.
That's the only really obvious thing. One player can lift a team, and we saw that at West Brom. It can do it, but it's a case of can it continuously do it? And you think about the players and how we're playing, it can't work. You can't just have that.
But remember that the point that Tony makes as well, which I agree on, is it's right now it's simply fitness. I mean, like even if they were hungry and they wanted to, their bodies just don't respond right now. It's just It's just their legs. Their legs are just saying no. But
4 games into a season.
No, but there's as we've discussed over quite a lot of Daily Blues, there's many reasons as to why we've got to that point. There's many mistakes that we've done over pre-season that we shouldn't have done.
It's the reason, isn't it? And
it is, yeah, it is. And I'm sure we'll come good. And once their legs begin to say yes, we'll get to see Chelsea again, I reckon, at the pinnacle level.
We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. But, I mean, Oscar...
They want to be, because I'll tell you what, I mean, the supporters are getting on the coaches at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, 5 o'clock in the morning to leave Stamford Bridge, and I'll be leaving at 5 to catch the one at Newport Pagnell. So, you know, it's a nightmare, you know, the kick-off time, etc. So, listen, we'll be there. We've been making lots of noise, and they'll be all right, Chelsea. You know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Someone who hasn't... Exactly. Someone who hasn't featured a lot is obviously Oscar. Chelsea Boy 3112 says, Oscar isn't injured. He was training with Mourinho during the international break. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
Clone Trooper Commander Doom says, Oscar all day over Fabregas. Ever since Costa got injured, our attacks have been dead. Which is a fair point, I can say. And someone called Frank Lampard has made a good point and said, do you think we will play it safe until January, sign a few players, and start our attack for the title then?
No, that's too late. January's too late usually.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get anyone good enough in January. Rarely it happens, you know. Rarely you get. And once again, I think I've you know, about Juan Cuadrado. I mean, players are coming in January, and especially now the way football is and the way the media is and the way football fans are. You know, if a player doesn't come in and instantly hit the ground running, you basically failed. You know, and that's unfortunately the way it works now. You know, about players coming in, they have to instantly make an impact, and especially now with the way Jose kind of sets up his team and the way naturally how football works is if you come into a settled team like Cuadrado did. We had a settled team. The reason we brought in Juan Cuadrado was because we lost Salah and Schürrle. We didn't buy him as, you know what I mean. We were buying him because we lost other players, you know, and that's as maybe an upgrade to just a reserve player. You know, he wasn't coming in as a first team starter. So I don't believe we need that. And as well, I will continue to say I don't think we're in dire need of any sort of. I don't think we're in dire need as like Arsenal really need a world class striker and they need a defensive midfielder.
No.
You know. You look at other teams like United, there are certain positions still that they probably need fixing. You know, Man City probably at the moment are like the rounded kind of balanced squad. And I do believe we are like that at the moment. It's just form. It's literally just down to form and fitness. That's the two things. I think the only player you can say that, maybe two players that you can say that can be taken out of this team at the moment are Fabregas and Ivanovic, you know, but they're not massive kind of, I don't think we don't have massive gaping holes like in the team. All you've got to do is take out Ivanovic, and then you for me, I think you've solved the problem putting Aspilicueta out on there. You know, it's not like we need to go out and instantly sign a right back because we haven't got one. You know.
Exactly.
And then we bring in the youth as a second choice. Ivanovic, just drop Ivanovic completely, if you ask me, until he, you know, finally feels that he can work better. You got Ola Aina. I really did like him. I know I keep saying about him. Just bring he is a good player. I mean, Tone, when you saw him at Fiorentina, he was one of the best players for us. If you ask me, do you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and, the guy worked hard. Loftus-Cheek, Ola Aina, and you know what they're saying about being the start of a new era. Right, saying you want to bring in players and start blooding the youth. Now is the time to do it. When we're not at our highest and we're not at our peak, so people can actually start competing for those positions. And I know they can't be comfortable anymore. There's too much comfortability. That's not a word. They're too comfortable in that team.
No,
and
that's true.
Not enough competition. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's something we focused on for the whole transfer window, wasn't it? Squad depth.
Mm.
We needed depth. And fingers crossed it comes through. Didier Drogba. It's funny, we're getting people with usernames of Chelsea legends. We got a John Terry, we got a Frank Lampard, we got a Drogba. We're just missing a Czech. Can a Czech come along? And we got Lord Mikel. But Didier Drogba said, well, I wish it was Didier, but Didier has said Arsenal game is make or break. Now,
yes.
You remember, you bring up the point of Arsenal needing a world-class striker. Welbeck is injured up until January, I think it is, or Christmas.
Yeah, but Welbeck isn't a world-class striker, let's be honest.
No,
Welbeck isn't a striker full stop anymore. People brought him as a striker, but he's a winger now.
Well, he is. But remember now, all Arsenal have is Giroud. That's it. That's their only striker available in their team.
The French pin-up model?
Yeah. The lamppost, as Claude likes to say. The lamppost. I mean, if we can't beat Arsenal without an attack, there's a bit of a problem there.
I think mentally, Arsenal are going to come into that game, yeah, sure, with a bit of confidence because of what they done last season. I just think we've got to revert back to the tactics that always beat Arsenal: is sit deep, defend well, get in the Arsenal players' faces. They don't like it. They don't like aggressiveness. They ain't up for the fight. You get in their faces, you get the ball off them, and you dispossess them. That's what we did perfectly last year, and it's what you always do against Arsenal. Of course, you have times, and maybe that works for you because they all go shambolic, and they lose their heads and lose their confidence, and you smack six past them. But that's fundamentally the way that works. We didn't, and then you counter on them very quickly. I think that's the way it works. Especially if you've got like a player like Mertesacker in centre back, because I mean, Costa just will absolutely destroy him for pace, and that's what happened last year. That second goal was a prime example of that. A brilliant ball by Fabregas, and Costa just absolutely got in between Koscielny and Mertesacker, and Mertesacker wasn't catching up to him. So, no, I mean, I think, as I say, I think that big game, especially it's 2 games time, so I mean, it's close, but we've got 2 games before that, and if we can get 2 wins, I mean, there'll be confidence going into that, and Mourinho, I think, won't play the same that he did in the Community Shield, because this is a Premier League game and points are at stake, and it's a crucial time of the season for us because of the start we've had. I think it'll be a very, very different game to the one we saw at Wembley. I think it just will, because naturally the way we set up to play against Arsenal was not the way Jose sets up. So I don't think you'll see that again. I think he'll set up the way he usually does. So I
think in terms of how Arsenal play, I think they're thinking of dropping Mertesacker now, and I think they're thinking of playing Gabriel, who's a much quicker centre half. So I've just if you wrote down the back line of what they could have, I've just done it now. Bellerin, Gabriel, Koscielny, Monreal, or Gibbs. Quite a quick team there.
Very quick, yeah, quite quick.
That's
true. Suraj, he's put a good comment here. Listen, if you want to listen to this, he's put Giroud was booed off today by French supporters. I guess anything that puts him down is good for us. It was.
I don't think we should worry about Arsenal at this moment in time. Let's get this Everton game out of the way, and then obviously the Tel Aviv game might be good for confidence. Couple of goals. Maybe make a few changes, etc.
Yeah.
I think we've got that type of group in the Champions League where we can afford to make change.
I mean,
win it.
Yeah.
But and then of course. Then we've got Arsenal to come, which we know that Stamford Bridge will be buzzing that day, London derby and everything else. And listen, I think this is probably what we need. We need some tough games.
Yeah, we do. Wake us up a bit. Smell the coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do with the coffee.
I mean, with Everton, because we've all been speaking about change and things that need to be rotated around and swapped. Would you keep everything the same and then bring on like Loftus-Cheek and bring on Kennedy and whatnot, or would you in fact start with them, or like Falcao? Would you start with Falcao, or would you bring him on? Like, would you start with these guys, or would you, against Everton, who are decent at home, just say no? You know what? Stick with the normal ones and then bring on you.
I'd start Falcao off the cheek.
So we're talking about Diego Costa. You'd replace him then with Falcao, then, would you?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, based on form and the fact that Falcao got a goal against Palace, on merit, Falcao deserves to get the nod.
Yeah, there you go.
And you go with Loftus-Cheek alongside
Matic.
Matic, yeah. I mean, in my analysis, I even mentioned Kennedy ahead of Hazard. Maybe that was one step a bit too much, but what if?
I put it this way: because of who Hazard is, it'll be difficult to replace him. Because of who he is. In terms of if you could play Kennedy, yeah, I would play him. But in terms of who Hazard is, it's just
but it's almost what you're saying. Then is he's almost untouchable. You know, he's beyond criticism, and you know, well,
I mean, we can criticise him all we want, but.
I think I'll give you, like, right now I've already got in my mind of what team I'd like to see on Saturday. I mean, and I'll give it right now. Courtois in goal, Rahman at left back, Zuma and JT, because JT's back from the suspension, Azpilicueta, midfield of Matic and Loftus-Cheek. Three behind striker for me would be Pedro, probably Oscar on form, Hazard and Costa. That would be my team. Oscar and Fabregas. The definite changes for me, I mean, Oscar and Fabregas is kind of difficult at the moment, and as well, that's the team I'd go for. But the definite changes I would make is, of course, take Ivanovic out, bring Azpilicueta in and Baba Rahman on the left, and of course, Loftus-Cheek in the middle. That's the two changes I think definitely have to be made at the moment, in my opinion. I think Costa and Falcao definitely has looked so energised. He always gives his all. I just think Costa, maybe because of the team we're playing on Saturday, and the amount of space he could be given, you know, I think it could be a good chance for Costa to get some confidence back.
That's a good point. That is a good point. But I've got to say, the one guy I'm looking forward to is Oscar. I just want to see what he's going to contribute to this team that's in a bit of jeopardy at the moment. I think he'll do well.
See, I think he should make the statement. Jose should make a statement, actually, and take out the two worst players so far in Fabregas and Ivanovic.
Yeah.
He should make a statement and say, listen, like, I'm not taking any crap this year. You know, these players haven't been performing up to the level I want them. So I'm bringing in players who I believe can do a better job. And, you know, I think Oscar has had a great half against Swansea, you know, that first half, but unfortunately got taken off because of Courtois' red card, you know, I think.
Yeah.
And if Oscar can come back with fitness, as you were saying about the training he's been doing, because I don't think he went off in the international, did he, because of his injury. Hopefully that's a good sign because he'll be working. And, you know, Oscar would be a great player to put in there. I think, actually, funny enough, like looking at last year, I think Oscar didn't actually play at Everton away last year. I think it was Ramirez who was actually brought in, if I remember rightly.
You're right.
It was more of a 4-3-3, actually. I think it was Ramirez, Matic, and Fabregas in midfield. Yeah, I think you had Willian on the right, Hazard
on the left,
which actually worked quite well. But I don't think it should be the same this year. As I say, just make that statement, make big statements. I want Jose to take a risk, make big statements, bring in Loftus-Cheek. I think that would excite all of us before even kick off if we saw Loftus-Cheek on the team sheet, wouldn't it? I think everyone would be buzzing and everyone would be like, yes, finally, we're going to see Loftus-Cheek in there, you know.
And I think he will. Remember at the end of the Palace game when Mourinho spoke and he said, I made a mistake. When I brought on the third sub, I realised I needed the fourth, and I kept a man on for 90 minutes that shouldn't have been kept on. So I'm sure he knows exactly what needs to be done. I think he will do exactly what we've just been saying here. Ivanovic, Fabregas, I don't think will start. I don't think. Tony, would you be happy, you know, just 100% to go, these two are not playing?
Yeah, 100%. We've said that, haven't we, for a number of Daily Blues now. That's what we all want. That's what we need to see happen. Those changes need to be made, and we need to be going with a you know, a fresh impetus because we've just had an international break, and let's go again. You know, and let's go there with confidence. Like I said, confidence is everything. We've got great players. We just need fitness. We just need games, and let's, like you said, you know, if we get a good victory at Goodison, then everything changes. You know, it's amazing, isn't it? How the doom and gloom lives, and we're all, you know, Man City lose one game, for example, and the gap becomes 5, and
that exactly. That's where
we beat Arsenal, and then the gap's 2 or 4 or whatever. And all of a sudden, it's all game on. You know,
things can change very quickly. You know, we were 9 points clear of City in last November, and everyone was saying, no one's catching Chelsea. And by New Year's Day, City were level with us. You know, of course, it was the form of us and the form of City that was kind of what kind of changed that tight race. Everyone thought it was going to be a really tight race because we played so well in that second half of the season and kind of grinding out results when we weren't at our best, and City kind of really dropped off at that second half. But things can change so quickly, as much as they can change the other way. As we've seen so far this season, you have a poor start, we're 9 points behind City. It can work in reverse. City get a few injuries, you know, they drop a bit of form. Company maybe loses a bit of form because as good as he's been, you know, he did have a poor season last year, and you know, maybe confidence starts to play on their mind, like, because they'll be thinking not again, you know, not like, you know, and then they lose a game, and it'll be shockwaves when they lose the game because they're the best team currently in the Premier League, you know. On form, you know, they and they're there for a reason, you know. So they lose a game, you know, it can really shake up the Premier League. And if we get a few wins under our belt, I think at the moment, because of the way we're playing, we've just got to focus on what we're doing. We shouldn't worry about what City are doing in terms like win a few games and then we see where we are, you know, see where we are on the table. There's no point looking at them at the moment because 9 points that can't be changed over one weekend. You know, it's got to be more from City's end that's going to change that.
Well, I mean, remember this. You know, what happened, like with us, the only way at the moment is up. You know, and with City, they haven't conceded. They've been 100%. What happens the day they concede a goal? You know, and they start to think, oh, whoops, we've conceded. What happens the day they draw and they go, oh, wow, we didn't win this one? You know, when you watch a marathon, remember it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. When you watch a long distance run, for example, do you ever see the guy who's just flown right to the front at the very beginning? Does he last until the end? More times than not, no. So, you know, it's very early days. Early days. You know, and I've still got confidence, and it's only been 4 games, 34 to go. That's all. Lou, you agree? Yeah. A comment to end on, which is from Sumi, and I want to say this. It's a very good comment. I have to read it. If you are not 100% Chelsea by heart, then your performance graph will go down. You have to play for the badge and motivate yourself for giving something to the club, like what Drogba, Lampard, etc. did.
I'm writing that on my wall when I actually get into my room. That's going. Then the next person who goes in there is going to be like, mate, you're actually a Chelsea fan. You've been in a room of somebody who is 100% Chelsea. You will do that. So, you know, when I get out of this and put it in my one, that is going on the wall. So who was the comment by?
It was by Sumya, and the surname Sumya Chakraborty.
Right. Okay, we've got to immortalise that. We have to immortalise that.
That's a quality comment.
That is a good comment. That is an excellent comment.
But well, there we are. We've hit the hour mark. That's been Daily Blues for tonight. Thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you for coming on once again.
No issues at all. Enjoy it.
And enjoy school, Louis.
I'll try.
Yeah, try. Fingers crossed. Be sure to follow everyone on social media. Remember, Tony is at Tony100% Chelsea. We've got at Chelsea SW6.
Yeah, it's, the channel's at Chelsea SW6 at SW6 underscore Chelsea. Chelsea. That's with Twitter and Facebook, Chelsea SW6, channel SW6.
Yeah, brilliant. And Daniel. No, there we are. Daniel is at Son of Chelsea, both his Twitter and his YouTube. And Louis is at Louis the Boogaloo.
No YouTube, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Oh, YouTube. Also, Eunice, can I just mention, Eunice, I've also set up recently think it was Saturday or whatever, I set up a new Facebook page. So I've also got a Facebook page, so you can go and check me out, Son of Chelsea, on Facebook as well.
Oh, quality. There we are. Facebook as well. And there we are. Follow all the 100% Chelsea social media links in the description below. Follow my channel, EuniceHH, if you haven't seen it already. There's been content I've uploaded today, which is good. For once, I need to get more content on there. And yeah, leave us. Say again.
You do need to get more content. That's what gets me through the week. I'm dying in a room. There's a toilet behind me. Just
I'm going to start a campaign, #SaveLouis, and I'll do that by uploading videos on my other channel, EuniceHH. So follow all of those. And leave all your comments in the comment section below. Leave us any more suggestions on topics that you want us to discuss, and we will see you tomorrow for more Daily Blues. So
#SaveLouis.
#SaveLouis. Thank you for watching. You guys can sign off. Take care, guys.